Long time ago, in the heart of the great savannah, where the climate was bright and clear, the rivers flowed like silver under the moonlight, and the bamboo tree whispered secrets to the wind. There lived a young woman named Adamma. She was the daughter of the great seer, Mama Kalinda, a woman renowned for her wisdom, her power, and her ability to speak to the spirits. Adamma had grown up under her mother's guidance, learning the ways of the spirits and the medicine of the land, and the secrets of the ancestors. She had always trusted her mother, believing that nothing in the world could break the bond between them but trust. Like the river, she can both deep and treacherous, and Adamma would soon learn that not even a mother's love is immune to the temptation of power. One evening, as the villagers prepared for the annual festival of the spirits, Mama Kalinda called Adamma to her hut, the fire flickered in her eyes as she gazed into the bones she had cast upon the ground. "My daughter," she said, her voice heavy with sorrow, "the spirits have spoken. A great trial is coming upon us. The river god, Ioka, demands a sacrifice, or our village will perish in drought." Adamma shivered. She had heard of the serpent god, Ioka, who dwelt in the depth of the river. It was said that he could bless the land with rain or curse it with scorching sun. The thought of the sacrifice sent a chill through her bones. Who must be sacrificed, mother? Mama Kalinda looked at her with sadness that Adamma did not yet understand. "The spirit will decide," she murmured. The festival began under the watchful gaze of the full moon. The villagers danced, sang, and offered gifts to the gods, hoping to appease Ioka's wrath. At the peak of the ceremony, Mama Kalinda stepped forward, lifting her staff high. The crowd fell silent as she closed her eyes and spoke with the voice of the ancestors. "The spirit has chosen," she declares. "The sacrifice must be Adamma." Fear gripped through the crowd. Adamma felt as though the earth had been pulled beneath her feet. Her own mother had spoken the words. The woman who had cradled her as a child, who had taught her the secret of the ancestor, had just condemned her to death. Adamma cried, stepping forward, "This cannot be true. You are my mother. You will not betray me." Mama Kalinda's face was unreadable. "It was not I who have chosen, my child. It is the spirit." Adamma searched her mother's eyes for some signs of hesitation, some sign that this was a mistake, but all she saw was certainty. The village elder seized her, binding her hands and feet. She struggled, but the villagers, fearing the wrath of Ioka, turned away from her cries. Even those who had once called her friends refused to meet her gaze. At dawn, Adamma was carried to the river's edge. The water shimmered, reflecting the sky like a mirror. The villagers chanted prayer, pleading for mercy from the serpent god. Adamma's heart pounded as they placed her in a small wooden canoe and pushed her towards the deep waters. She looked back at her mother one more time. "How could you do this to me?" she whispered. Mama Kalinda did not answer. She only turned her back as the canoe drifted into the mist. Adamma closed her eyes and prepared for the end, but the river had other plans. As the canoe reached the heart of the river, the waters began to churn. A great wave rose, and from the depths emerged Ioka, his scales glittering like obsidians. He studied Adamma with his golden eyes. "Why do you come to me, child of the land?" His voice rumbled like a distant thunder. Tears streamed down Adamma's eyes. "I was sent as a sacrifice," she said, with bitterness in her voice. "My own mother betrayed me." Ioka tinted his massive head. "A mother's betrayal is a wound deeper than any blade," he mused. "But I do not hunger for your flesh, child. The spirit did not demand your life. It was your mother's greed that spoke, not the god." Adamma's breath caught in her throat. Greed. Ioka's golden eyes darkened. "Yes, your mother seek power beyond her station. She wished to take your spirit as an offering to the gods in exchange for eternal wisdom, but she has forgotten one thing." Adamma clenched her feet. "What?" Iyoka's voice was like a whisper carried by the wind that the river never forgets. With that, the serpent god coiled around her and plugged beneath the water. Adamma awoke on the river bank. The rising sun, warming her skin. She was alive, but something had changed within her. She could feel the river coursing through her vein, hear the whispers of the water spirit. Iyoka had given her a gift, the power of the river. She rose to her feet with determination burning in her heart. She would return to the village, not as a victim, but as something more. When she stepped into the village, the people gasped and stumbled back. They had thought she was dead, but there she stood strong, unbroken, with the river's power flowing through her. Mama Kalinda emerged from her hut. In her face, you can see a mask of shock and fear. "You?" she breathed. Adamma met her mother's gaze. "You betrayed me, mother, but I will not seek revenge. The spirits have already decided your fate." As the words left her lips, the sky darkened, thunder rumbled, and the river swallowed. The great surge of water rushed through the village, and from the depth rose Iyoka. The people fell to their knees, trembling. Mama Kalinda took a step back. "Please," she whispered, "I only wanted what was best for our people." Iyoka's voice echoed through the air. "You sought power at the cost of your own blood? Now the river claims you." A wave rose, crashing down upon Mama Kalinda. When it receded, she was gone. The village was silent. The people returned to Adamma with fear and reverence in their eyes. She looked over them, her heart heavy. "I am not your enemy," she said, "but the river does not forgive betrayal." From that day forward, Adamma became the keeper of the river, a guardian of its waters. She had lost a mother but gained a purpose, and through the wound of betrayal, never fully healed, she learned that strength is not in vengeance, but in the rising above pain. And so the river floats on, carrying with it the whispers of those who remember the tales of the mother who betrayed her daughter, and the daughter who became something greater. Now that Adamma became both the guardian and the custodian of the river, she became the one whose people sought for advice, and for that she became very popular in the village, but she could not shake a feeling that deeply worried her. The feeling of how her mother betrayed her. This became very worrying for her as it affected her various rituals she had to do. So she decided to go ahead to ask the villagers about their seer. As she went back to the village, it was not as she had left it. The fields were barren, people almost dying of hunger and thirst, and the grounds were very hot and showed various cracks on it. She was being questioned by the villagers. "Why is the village filled with drought? Are you truly the custodian of the river?" Out of anger, the people wanted to kill her because they thought that was the solution. She quickly asked, "Where is the seer? I can resolve the problem." A villager from the back without hesitation said she was claimed by the river, but her spirit roamed around the shrine close to the riverbank. The villagers were excited and took her there. She saw a shadow and she was surprised to see that it was her mother. Adamma was shocked and she asked, "How do you still live, you wicked seer of a human?" And then a green plant with fairy face arose and she said, "She's neither dead nor alive." And Adamma asked, "How could this be?" She said, "The moment you abandoned your own blood, you became mine." And she was shocked. Adamma gasped and said, "You sold your soul." And Mama Kalinda nodded down. And the plant, whose name was Ishi, said, "Yes, and the only way she can be free is if she sacrifices her own soul for hers." And those words of the goddess sank into her, and she ran to another nearby river to pray to Iyoka. And Iyoka, with a deep and satisfying voice, said, "I would handle it." Few hours from then, as Adamma went back to the village was on fire, and with a storm near them. Adamma, with shock, said, "How could this be?" But as she turned, she saw her mother laughing, with fire in her eyes. Mama Kalinda said, This is just the plan of the goddess to start a war between the gods. And with that, Adama told her mother this shall be settled once and for all. And Adama decided to sell her own soul in exchange to end the war. But at that moment, Mama Kalinda cried, trying to reach for Adama to come back, as she was swept off by a shadow. Then the war stopped immediately, and Mama Kalinda started crying. Later, Mama Kalinda was accepted back in the village, and she used her experience to tell stories. 5 years later, sadly, she died. And the villagers built a monument with her and her daughter, standing together with it, looking like a strong bond.